The plumed serpent dragon dominates the ancient cultures of Mesoamerica. The Olmec, the Mayan, the Aztec, and the Anasazi. But these are not the only cultures to develop dragons in the Americas. Dozens of others are scattered across the continent. And the belief in dragons is not confined to a single area, a single tribe, or a single dragon.
All the native peoples throughout all the Americas had the image of the dragon. I'll give you some examples. In the southeast, among people like the Alabama, the Choctaw, the Chickasaw, the Seminole, and whatnot, they had a creature that was called Unctena. That was a classic image of the dragon. If you go up in New England, for example, among the Seneca, there's a creature of myth up there called the Angut. And again, it's seen as a reptilian creature that can fly, that lives in deep wells. If you got in the Midwest or all along the Mississippi, for example, widely believed from the headwaters to down, where it runs into the Gulf, is that there live these gigantic riverine serpents. We're talking about images of creatures 12, 20, 30 feet long. These creatures could fly, these creatures had horns, these creatures had, big muzzles and whatnot. Up along the northwest coast region, Washington coast, Oregon coast, Vancouver Island, British Columbia, all the way up into southern Alaska. The Indians in this area have a belief in a two-headed serpent, often associated with coming out of the sea and is often depicted as having wings.
Why do so many prehistoric cultures believe there is something out there? Partly because they are hunters and gatherers. As they search, they find things. Scary things. Things that can't be explained. The eroded territories of the American West and Canada are treasure troves of fossils. Enormous fossils. Leg bones like telephone poles. Jaw bones with stalactite teeth. Shoulder blades taller than a man.
What is this animal?
This is Torvosaurus. It's a theropod, a meat eater.
Today, modern paleontologists comb the badlands of Alberta, Canada, searching for these same fossils, which we know today to be dinosaur bones.
When we go out looking for dinosaurs, more often than not, we find little fragments, sections of jaw, sections of long bones, sections of rib. But every once in a while, we do find some of these complete animals that are basically lying out on the surface. And to get them, it's walk up to them and pick the bones up and walk home. So people in the past would have no problem finding the same sorts of things. These things have been weathering out of the rock for millions of years. So just like today, they could walk up to an area, find whole bones, and walk home with these enormous bones that defy all explanation.
And people do still find them today, often totally by happenstance.
And me and some friends went out, and I just happened to be the first one out of the outfit, and I'd walked probably, 300 yards, and I came around the corner of this Gumbo Hill, and I seen something over there, and what I saw was actually the very top of the dome here. Mm-hmm. And, when I saw it, it's just a round, looked like a rock, and I walk over there, and I see these big bumps and stuff, and then we started to do a little excavation real carefully. We started to kind of uncover some of the dirt, and the horns were exposed. We knew we had something tremendously important and very rare.
Clayton calls his find Lisa Dragon, after his wife, but she forgives him. Appraisers say his skull could fetch $250,000. Such is the value of fossils today. In ancient times, when people discover large fossil bones, they don't recognize them as being millions of years old. In fact, the concept of millions of years is not yet part of human consciousness, nor is the concept of extinction. So the enormous bones are presumed to be from contemporary animals, animals that are still roaming the area.
The old people tell stories about when an Iniskim went by and they would hide behind a rock. And as the Inis or the dinosaur went by or the creature went by, they were bouncing about a foot off the ground because of the ground moving when a group of them passed.
stomping dragons could explain earthquakes. This belief would be strengthened each time an earthquake uncovers new bones. Modern paleontologists create earthquakes of their own. Unwilling to wait for bones to naturally weather out of the rock, they dig them out.
Maybe just hiding in the depths of geological time is a creature that we haven't yet discovered that might fit the bill for a dragon. When you go back in time, there's a good chance there are beasts lurking in the depths which we haven't found yet. But the chances are when we find these dragons, they're going to turn out to be dinosaurs.
Always searching for new evidence, Phil Manning travels to a dig site in the Badlands, where he joins Kevin Kruger and fellow paleontologist Don Brinkman.
Yeah.
So Don, tell me, how's the actual animal lying in the ground?
It's lying on its side. This is the snout region coming out of the hill there. Right. The top of the skull. The eye would have been right in here. This is the upper jaw, teeth still in place. The neck's curving around going in the hill back there.
We'll often find, you know, just the tail of an animal, and so when you find just the tail and you don't know what it's from, the rest of the animal becomes totally imaginary and you make it up.
Yeah.
If you have nothing to compare it to, we recreate what we think that animal should look like, and later on we find more of that animal and find out, oh, we actually didn't do this correctly.
Making the leap from a collection of disconnected bones to a full skeleton requires science and imagination. In Hill City, South Dakota, the Black Hills Institute specializes in piecing together real monsters.
Hi, Pete. I'm Phil Manning.
Hi, Pete.
Phil Manning travels here to meet Pete Larson.
Now, I've heard that you're the man I've got to find to help me on my quest to find a dragon, but what have we got here?
Well, in a way, this is a dragon. If you look at it closely, we've got teeth coming out of a jaw. This is a Tyrannosaurus rex. It's the maxilla, the upper jawbone from a T-Rex. And these teeth were found with this maxilla.
They're teeth?
Yeah, this is a dragon's tooth, if ever there was one. And they're so well
But it's not the
preserved.
T-Rex that interests Manning.
It's so well preserved
It's
that
Pete
you can
Larson's
actually
latest
see
discovery.
these serrations. If you're looking to put a dragon back together, I've got a starting point here that we might begin.
Whoa.
This dinosaur is called Gorgosaurus. It's a brand new undescribed species. It's sort of like a miniature T-Rex. But if I were to build a dragon, this is where I'd start. Pick up that jaw right there.
Right, got it.
And the front end goes over here. If you articulate it back here, you can see it's a really interesting mechanism that's almost like a screw. Not only did the jaw open up this way, but actually as it opened, it screwed out and actually made the jaw wider too, made a wider gape. And not only did it have this very, very unusual mechanism of opening its jaw, but it has tremendous power. This has the capacity to not only bite through dinosaur flesh, but through dinosaur bones as well.
This is the dragon. This truly is a terrifying animal.
Moving from a jawbone, or even a larger fragment, to a full-blown skeleton is a monumental task.
Phil, I'd like you to meet Stan the T-Rex.
Even with a full skeleton, it's not clear how ancient animals would look with muscles and skin. This is the job of paleo artists. Their recreations, like ancient man's, require a healthy imagination.
As a model maker, I'll be trying to restore this creature to its life appearance, and there's a number of different things that we have to take into consideration. Some of it is science, and some of it crosses over into educated guesswork. We'll look at living creatures and see what sort of muscle and skin structure they have, and we try to extrapolate in a responsible way what this thing may have looked like. At some point, it does turn into artistic guesswork, though.
Finding the dried bones of a monster could frighten anyone. But at least you know that animal is dead. More terrifying is the additional evidence early man finds. Proof that these monsters are alive and